What man goes from 0 to 100 in like this? What man has that kind of so-called luck? And Mr. Gautam Adani grew his net worth by $100 billion in 3 years. I couldn't afford a cup of coffee. What are you talking about? आपने कभी सोचा है कि हिंडनबर्ग है क्या? ठीक है, like where did it come from? Had you ever heard of it before? Because if you have, you're probably one of the very few people. Because ये एक firm है in New York. What does it have to do with Gautam Adani or his enterprises or Modi, for example? ये बात को जानने के लिए we have to kind of get into the mind of the man behind Hindenburg, the firm itself, Mr. Nathan Anderson. अब इसकी irony ऐसी है कि आप सुनेंगे तो आपके होश उड़ जाएं. Hindenburg actually it was a German airship that had one of the biggest blasts in the history of airship blasts ever. It was the size of pretty much the same size as the Titanic. और ये जो airship थी, this was उस ज़माने में 1930s के टाइम में it was Nazis का status symbol. It was Hitler की पार्टी का symbol of his might, symbol of everything he was doing. The Hindenburg, उसके लिए special चीजें डिजाइन हुई. There was a smokers lounge in that aircraft. There was a special piano made just for that aircraft. Okay, today there's a lot of technology, but back then, what kind of a situation was that? If you look at it, that aircraft, it represents everything illegal, wrong, luxurious, and everything you can say evil, because उसका सारा ताल्लुक was with the Nazis and Hitler जो भी उस टाइम पे कर रहा था, और हम सबको पता है कि वो जुल्म ही कर रहा था. So उसकी representation ये थी. That was the Hindenburg. The actual Hindenburg is an airship. उसके पीछे who is Nathan Anderson? He is an Israeli guy जिसने इस एयरशिप पे अपनी कंपनी का नाम रख दिया. An Israeli guy naming his company after a Nazi airship. So this guy is really twisted. When you think about it, when I think about it, like it's kind of like a genius, but still kind of really deep thought and twisted kind of thing happening behind the scenes in his mind. What did he think of when he was doing this? In my opinion, he wanted to create something that is extremely ironic. Basically, उसने अपनी कंपनी का नाम रखा Hindenburg because he wanted to take down everything that Hindenburg represented. Evil, illegal, zulm, and everything horrendous basically in this world. Boom. So, Nathan Anderson's role model, he says, is a guy called Harry Markopolos. Who is this guy? This guy is the analyst who basically showed the world who is Bernie Madoff. And if you don't know, Bernie Madoff एक बंदा था जिसकी सबसे बड़ी Ponzi scheme थी of his time. The most infamous guy for fraudulent behavior, all the stuff that he is now working on, all the stuff that Nathan Anderson is now working on to show the world what these so-called billionaires are doing behind closed doors. Well, I guess it's not behind closed doors anymore because Nathan Anderson is here to take you down. So Mr. Anderson, he drove an ambulance in Israel growing up, and he said that kind of a situation taught him to deal in high pressure situations. Well, one can imagine driving an ambulance in of all places, Israel will definitely teach you that. So he grew up with a dream, wanting to really expose these people, really expose what he believed were billionaires or multimillionaires doing wrong behind closed doors. Mr. Gautam Adani's whole doing was called the biggest con in corporate history. Okay, that is a very, very big statement. That is a big statement for how many corporations there are in history, for starters. Second of all, देखिए अब इसमें सबसे ज़्यादा alarming facts ये आते हैं कि अगर देखा जाए तो हिंडनबर्ग ने ये कहा है कि छोड़ दें उनकी सारी स्पेकुलेशन या उनके सारे प्रूफ अकॉर्डिंग टू देम, सारी फाइंडिंग्स forget it. They said just look at his finances. What man goes from 0 to 100 in like this? What man has that kind of so-called luck? And honestly, that is true. ये बात सही है. कोई ऐसा इंसान नहीं है जो 0 to 100 in A to Z speed में पहुंच जाए in 1 second. It's not gonna happen like that. Mr. Gautam Adani grew his net worth by $100 billion in 3 years. I couldn't afford a cup of coffee. What are you talking about? 3 years, $100 billion. What is this guy doing? He has stepped foot in every single industry there is known to mankind, from renewable energy to infrastructure to airports to God knows what. Okay, 8 to 10 industries, not businesses, industries, yani sectors of business. Do you know how large that is? This man has stepped foot in 8 to 10 industries alone. One single businessman can hardly handle one industry and 8 businesses in one industry, let alone so many businesses in 8 to 10 different industries. Okay, today Rahul Gandhi had an explosion and I'm about to have the same explosion right here. Let's stay on topic for the Hindenburg case. Okay, then I'll get into the politics of this whole situation. For starters, Hindenburg ने काफी सारे witness statements जमा किए from a lot of the Adani Group's executives, high level executives. फिर उन्होंने काफी सारी छानबीन की, due diligence in a lot of the Adani business sites, a lot of the places. They went themselves, did all their research like proper detectives, as you could say, and found out everything on foot what was happening behind closed doors. ये सब करते करते उनको पता चला कि there were already a lot of fraudulent investigations into the Adani Group itself, including Mr. Gautam Adani's brother-in-law, his elder brother, and his younger brother. So Hindenburg Research में उन्हें क्या मिला were some alleged illegal tenders. Then 10 sectors में Mr. Adani basically whole Adani Group की footing, and उनमें से उनको नजर आए काफी सारे offshore companies to cover certain things about their finances. Some of the alarming facts उनमें आता है basically they have been called the kings of offshore alleged fraudulent companies. Why go through so much effort allegedly covering up your track with offshore companies, general artificial turnover, unless there is some sort of black money involved? इस चीज का और भी proof ये है कि तकरीबन 8 साल पहले और कुछ 5 साल पहले तक ये सिर्फ हिंडनबर्ग की बात नहीं है. काफी इंटरव्यूज में मिस्टर अदानी को कॉर्नर किया गया, उनसे पूछा गया कि आपके बारे में काफी अफवाहें फैल रही हैं कि आपके इलीगल टेंडर्स, आप बेसिकली कौड़ियों के दाम कुछ ना कुछ खरीदते हैं और उसको आप फिर बेचते हैं कितने पैसों में, वो यू वन कैन ओनली इमेजिन. सो व्हाई, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग बिहाइंड दैट? एंड ऑल्सो उन्होंने कहा कि आपने काफी सारे allegedly environmental laws आपने तोड़े हैं, and here you are selling renewable energy and solar and clean energy and a bright future for the youth of India when you are yourself having so many alleged violations जिसका आपको फाइन होना चाहिए hundreds and hundreds of crores. So then what did he have to say to that? Obviously he denied it. The Hindenburg Research also highlighted the fact that there are 22 major like heirs in the Adani Group, out of which 8 people are his family members, are all family members from the Adani family. ये उन्होंने कहा है कि this creates a huge divide into the power balance of the Adani Group, that this doesn't make sense that a company of that spectrum, of that big scale, is mainly a family owned business. Like it's a public limited companies with footing all over the world in so many different sectors of the world, and it's what the most of the power is with the family. They found that shady as well. What I find the most shady is 100 billion net worth increase in the span of 3 years. And उसको जब check करने निकले Hindenburg Research और काफी सारे लोग, news channels, news outlets, they didn't really have anything good to say. Now, okay, there's that saying that there is no smoke without fire. But let's keep it real. All these are right now still currently allegations. We do have to use the word alleged. This is the speculation at hand, and you can make your own conclusion from it. Finished now. We're going to politics.